Привіт, I'm Chuck Olinik, a Ukrainian-American whose baptismal name is Yaroslav, and that's also the name I use in the Society for Creative Anachronism, where I'm known as Yaroslav the Persistent, or Yari. I want to share a folktale. Actually, it's a couple of them. Kotyhoroshko is a folktale of Ukrainian origin, and the description I'd read was he is a Bogatyr hero of Kievan Rus, although in neither of the tales I found about him was the court of Volodymyr Bright Sun or Volodymyr Red Sun or even Kiev being mentioned. He's known as Kotyhoroshko in Belarus and Ivan Goroshko in Russia. The name Kotyhoroshko, it's related to peas, which for the Slavs, that was like a big deal as far as part of the Christmas table and marriage customs associated with the birth of children. So there's actually two very short tales here, and I'm just going to tell them with a slight break. Who will tell us of the things of old, and of the things that have been, of Kotyhoroshko, of that Kotyhoroshko, of Ivan Goroshko, of Kotyhoroshko, the Little Pea. There was a farmer once who had 6 sons and a daughter, and he sent the 6 sons out into the field to plow, and he later sent his daughter to bring them lunch. The daughter became confused as to where to take the lunches to her brothers, and she found a furrow and assumed this must have been made by my brothers, and she followed it, but really it wasn't made by the brothers with a plow. It was made by Gorinchik, a serpent, an evil serpent, and he abducted the daughter. The brothers wondered where their sister was, and they went looking for her. And they were captured and imprisoned. Well, sometime later, a mother was dealing with preparing peas for a meal, and one pea rolled away, and she picked it up and ate it. And later, she had a son, whom she called Kotyhoroshko. And this son grew prodigiously. He had amazing strength, and he helped his parents around the chata and around the farm. But he would ask from time to time why they looked so sad, until at last it was told him that he had 6 brothers and a sister once. Well, can I not go look for them? No. It is too dangerous. We already lost them. If we lose you, we would be alone forever. And so Kotyhoroshko, Little Pea, obeyed his parents, and he went out into the field one day to plow, and the plow struck something, and he dug it up, and it was a large piece of iron. How it came to be there, no one knows. But he thought about his missing brothers and his missing sister, whom he never knew. And he took this iron to a blacksmith. And the smith forged a mighty mace, worthy of a Bogatyr. And now armed, Kotyhoroshko went searching for his long-lost sister and his brothers. And he eventually found a furrow, which he had not made, and he followed it. He followed it to the lair of the serpent. And there he waited, because he recognized what this was. And when the serpent appeared, Little Pea, with his mighty mace, killed the serpent. And he released his brothers and his sister, but curiously enough, he did not tell them who he was. Instead, he was just simply their rescuer, and he saw all the gold and all the precious gems that this serpent had gathered over time. And so he took a large bag, and he began to carry it out with him. And his brothers each took smaller bags because they were nowhere near as strong as the Little Pea. And they journeyed towards their home. But the brothers in time began to mutter amongst themselves that this person was a stranger. They owed him nothing. And should something befall him, they would take his share of the treasure. And they waited for Little Pea to fall asleep, and they fell upon him and tied him to a tree, face first into the tree. And they grabbed what they could of his treasure in addition to their own, and they went home with their sister and presented the treasure to their parents and said nothing of Kotyhoroshko. Instead, they had managed to escape on their own. Well, Kotyhoroshko awakened, found himself tied to the tree, uprooted the tree, and carried it with him as he journeyed home. And from outside the house, outside the chata, the peasant hut, he heard his brothers rejoicing over their fortune. And he had thought of throwing the tree against the house, but why? His parents sounded so happy. And he went in. Here were his parents. They'd been poor all their lives. Now they had this treasure. They had their 6 sons back. They had their daughter. And Kotyhoroshko decided at that point, aside from shaming his brothers and telling his parents what they had done, he left to go explore the wide world. It was at the feast I heard this tale. There it was, I drank mead ale. Though it flowed down my beard, my mouth stayed dry, for never a drop passed my lips, swear I.